When you think musical, you might think of something like Wicked, or maybe Frozen if it's animated. Stories that have this theatrical flair, and characters who break into song no matter what they're doing. That's not what K-pop Demon Hunters thinks. This musical has genuine K-pop songs, characters that sing because they are actual singers, and sequences animated like high-budget music videos. It's so different from a typical musical that I keep forgetting it is a musical, and it works so well. The movie has the #1 soundtrack of 2025, broke Netflix streaming records, and is now one of my personal favorite animated musicals to grace the planet. I love Broadway and Disney, but if you saw my review of this movie, you know that I love K-pop Demon Hunters for how creative it is, and I think the music sequences are the most creative and the best part of the movie, and I just want to watch them with you today and chat about why I love them so much, despite how different they are from a typical musical. Now, I'm not a K-pop or a music expert, and unfortunately, I cannot actually play a lot of the music because I will get copyrighted. So I'm going to talk more about the storytelling and visuals, which are still just as important to any musical. There will be spoilers for the entire movie, but if you haven't seen this movie, what are you doing? You have to go watch it. And we're going to start with the opening number, How It's Done. First of all, I love this song. It is such a great upbeat pop bop. This is the world establishing song, so this is how they introduce us to the characters Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, and also the setting the movie takes place. So let's watch it.
Not our fans. When you mess with our fans,
we need to make it hurt.
Okay, first of all, I love this part. It's very magazine editorial-esque, and this little edit just sets the tone so well for how cool and sexy and stylized they are. And they really emphasize the Hanmoon in the background, which is this magical shield that the girls produce with their voices to protect the humans from the demons that they are fighting. If you listen to the lyrics, they're very confident and power-driven. They're telling us this is how it's done. Huntrix is unbeatable. Don't try us because we'll beat you. This whole time, they're really establishing that these girls are really excellent fighters. And we know later that the demons are having a really difficult time defeating them, which is why Gima, the villain of the whole story, is like dying. But we can tell that Rumi is a really excellent fighter because she's basically beating like 4 demons by herself, but also holding a tea kettle. This is something I love about this scene, is that they show that the girls are really good multitaskers. So the whole time they're like fighting these demons, but also they're making their ramen. It also shows how good they are with teamwork, which does come back later because the team does struggle when one of them has a little breakdown. Also, let me just take a second to appreciate the outfits of these girls. Look at how cute they look. I know I'm supposed to be talking about like the music and stuff, but I just have to talk about everything. I think this song too is one of the better examples of how well the music goes to the beat. And I was reading an article, I'll link it below if I can, that this process was torturous for the animators, but they did a great job. I mean, I feel like it looks so seamless. I would never have known it was so much work. And I mentioned this in my review, but something I loved about this movie was how girly they were, but they were also so badass. They could be two at the same time, which is something you don't often see in movies these days. I will say it is a little confusing how many times they've had to slay these demons. I think they've cut these demons in half like 10 times at this point, but that's okay. It makes for a really epic opening number. And then also, not only is it establishing the types of girls that this story is going to follow, so confident, cute, and killer, it also does a pretty good job of showcasing the individual personalities as well. Zoe is the rapper, so of course she has this hardcore rap part. Rumi is the vocal powerhouse, so she has this like singular moment to really showcase her voice, which is kind of sad because she ends up losing it. So it kind of makes it a bit more painful. Then you also establish that these voices light up the souls of everybody, which then lights up the Hanmoon or the shield. This is a lot of information communicated very well in just 3 minutes. Also, this choreo is so good. I love this move. And the girls are close to building the golden Hanmoon, which will protect the worlds forever from the demons. Rumi is motivated to speed track this, which we found out why she wants to do this so quickly in the next song. The next song is Golden, and different from How It's Done, which is the world establishing song. This song is essentially their I Want song. Each part that the girls have gives you a little bit of insight into their background. Rumi's part is feeling a lot of pressure to live up to her legacy of her mom, who was a demon hunter before her. You can see that where she is. This is like the tree where Celine gave them the purpose of being demon hunters. I'm sure this has some sort of lore in the world. Zoe's backstory is about how she grew up in America, but obviously lives in Korea now and is Korean. This could have been the result of a divorce, but this has impacted her identity, probably because it doesn't feel 100% at home in either country. And then Mira's backstory is how she was a very problematic child and kind of got disowned by her family, but now those exact same qualities help her as a pop star. So basically, it's setting up how difficult the girls' lives were before coming together. And this little stream of gold, I think, is supposed to reference, obviously the golden Hanmoon that they're trying to build, but also how much light entered into their lives when they all came together as a group. Hi, sorry to jump scare you with my physical form, but as I was editing this video, I realized I just missed a lot of things that I wanted to talk about. I filmed this video in a bit of a different way than I normally do. So I'm just going to pop in every now and then and add some context where I feel like I want to. But with Golden, it shows this perfect public image that is really covering up a lot of deceit because Rumi is secretly a demon. Singing about all of this light and hope is really just her trying to sing her way out of who she is. Mira and Zoe want to build the golden shield to defeat the demons. Rumi wants to build it to remove her patterns. And because Golden is the I Want song, Rumi is consistently singing about what she wants, but not what she needs. She wants to be free of her demon patterns, but she needs to accept herself the way that she is. But because she doesn't, she loses her voice. Music is really tied to the story in this way, since her ability to sing directly reflects how much hope she has for herself. Also note how Huntrix's story is the opposite of Jinu's, who we'll meet later as a sort of evil demon. But Huntrix finds light via a found family when their biological parents abandoned them in some way. Jinu is the one who abandoned his own family and was pushed to the dark side. Golden is so funny to me because it is an actual music video in the movie and you can see the fans obsessing over the song. And this ended up being, I think, the most popular song from the soundtrack. So we are essentially the same as the fans in the movie. Next is Sodapop, which is one of my favorite songs in the movie. It introduces the Saja Boys, who are slaves to Gima and working to steal the souls of Huntrix's fans. This is technically a villain song, which is really fun because the beat is so poppy and upbeat, and whoever they're singing about is this refreshing, sweet Sodapop. They're doing such kind things. It's such a brightly colored scene. Obviously, these guys are demons and they want to eat your soul. I love how it's so different to their actual intention. My favorite thing about this song and this scene is that they really play up the boy band craze and how attractive these guys are, and it just makes me laugh so much. Especially with Jinu, who is the leader of the Saja Boys. They just animate him so well. I love the wink here. It's just so good. And then the camera movement just zooming into his face. On the camera angles, the way that the Saja Boys play with the camera, throwing it away and grabbing it in, is pretty intentional, I think. It's a very hypnotic way of filming. They're really focused on pulling you in and getting your attention. And they do this even more intensely in Your Idol. It's very different to the way that Huntrix is filmed in their performances, which are typically filmed as if they're just standard music videos or standard stage performances, because Huntrix sings for the fans, not to manipulate the fans. And I think using the camera in that way is such a great detail. I really love it. And even between Sodapop and Your Idol, the camera movement is a lot more playful in Sodapop, and then in Your Idol, it's a lot more seductive. What is this move too? The fact that somebody was we're gonna have him have a powerful body roll. Oh, look, he has Converse on. I love whoever choreographed both Huntrix and the Saja Boys. They did a really, really good job. And this little heartbeat is so fun. This is also just so wildly different from traditional Broadway music, and I really wish we had more K-pop musicals. The next song is Takedown, which is the diss track the girls start to write about the Saja Boys to take them down so that they don't steal their fans. This song is so different from Golden. It's essentially fueled by hate. And the first time we hear the song, it's completely about the Saja Boys. Look at the outfits, by the way, the girls are wearing. Beautiful. And then the second time we hear this song, Rumi is in the thick of it, and Mira and Zoe are questioning what is going on with her because she's like struggling so much. But by this point, Rumi's thinking, would Mira and Zoe kill her if they knew? Because a demon with no feelings doesn't deserve to live. Does she deserve to live? Does Jinu deserve to live? Because while Jinu is a demon, she's learned he's also a slave and has some humanity. Not all demons are the same like Mira and Zoe think, which is why she keeps rewriting the lyrics to make them softer. It's just really cool how this song takes on a different meaning throughout the story. And then you can also see how it's really negatively impacting the group. And also Rumi. As Rumi starts to fall apart, so does the team, which is so different than their cohesiveness and how it's done. The next time this song comes back is when Rumi is sabotaged by Jinu with demon versions of Mira and Zoe. The lighting is no longer the golden or purple of Huntrix, it is the red of the Saja Boys, which is kind of a hint that this is not the real Mira and Zoe. I think this song is in a lower register, it seems to be, than in the versions with like the actual Mira and Zoe. And this time, this song really is about Rumi. And I love how the choreography actually reflects that. Like when they say hideous on the inside, they touch Rumi. Look at how evil Mira looks here. This part is just so good at visualizing Rumi's worst fear. It's a little unfortunate because this didn't have to happen if Jinu stuck to the plan. Because right before this, they actually had their little love song, Free. Free is essentially the hope song in combination with the love song. It's actually so cute. This whole time, she's never been able to be herself, except when she's with him. And even though he doesn't think he's a good person, she feels that he's very good for her. So he's not 100% evil. Also kind of ironic that she's talking about being free while at the same time escaping the problems and not really facing them head on. Jinu, though, not really sold on it. He's like, girl, no, I'm a huge villain. And he's just got a lot of self-doubt. Also, I really love this blocking of the two of them in this song. How Rumi is out in the open and Jinu hides himself in the forest because he's just so ashamed. But obviously because Gima's been telling him he's worthless for 400 years. But they both sing separately, him in his little moody, broody forest and her on the roof outside. It's only when he steps out to join her that they end up singing together, which is really cute. I also think this song would have been a lot more powerful if they had more time together. And by the way, so many people commented on my video that the movie was supposed to be 3 hours long. This is confirmed to be a total rumor. The movie was apparently always supposed to be 90 minutes. And that typically is the runtime for most animated movies. But I have read a lot of interviews and stuff where they talk about all of the ideas that they had. So I think there were a lot of pitches and a lot of concept stories that just didn't make it to the final version, but they always intended the final version to be 90 minutes. Also, this little moment where he's looking into his reflection and he sees the demon, and then she's looking at him and she sees the human. It's a cute little moment. This is the part that Rumi gets her voice back because she can feel like herself when she's with Jinu. So you can see that she's lighting up the Hanmoon with her voice, which is really cute. Look at him. He's little lighting up the Hanmoon too. I didn't notice that from the first time I watched that. Yeah, look at him. The good boy after all. The purple is also so pretty. It's a practical color for the time of day since it's twilight, but there's just some pink in here too. So it's also kind of a little romantic. That's so cute. They're both little human demons holding hands. Flying makes sense because they're talking about being free and weightless from the past. But problem is they still are hiding from the world, but not with each other. Cut to Your Idol, the best part of the movie in my opinion, and the greatest song of the movie. By this point, the Saja Boys are ready to kill everyone to feed Gima. Jinu is like fully convinced he's evil, and they're almost successful at it. I love how you can see, just like from the beginning, the demon patterns on the backdrop, and also all of the red, which is a very powerful, devilish color. It just honestly makes this performance look like they're coming out of hell. Oh, it's just so good. It's very opposite as well to the hopeful purple and gold of Huntrix. Also, if you listen to this song in the soundtrack version, there's this really amazing intro that's all of this Latin demon chanting. It translates to something about Judgment Day. And I was reading an article about the making of this song, and they were saying how the background vocals are basically meant to sound like a choir from hell, which is so perfect because that is absolutely what it sounds like. They're all dressed in what I believe is the Korean version of the Grim Reaper. Also kind of crazy because at this point, the boys are completely open about the fact that they're demons. They're literally dressed as Grim Reapers and everyone is still obsessed with them. Another great thing about this song is it's called Your Idol, obviously, which can have a double meaning. They are K-pop idols, but also, they're so insanely idolized and over-idolized by the fans, as if they are a cult leader. It's really all about how much power they have over their fandom, which is kind of the opposite to what they were singing about in Sodapop. With Sodapop, the person they were singing to was so addicting and intoxicating. But in this song, it's all about how everyone is addicted to them, which is what they were doing all along anyway. They also say, your obsession feeds our connection, which is quite opposite to why Huntrix connects fans, which is to build a protective shield, not to feed a demon monster. I think my favorite line, though, is that in the chorus, they say, don't you know I'm here to save you? And then by the end of the song, they say, no one is coming to save you, which is such a little devious switch that showcases their true intentions and just how much power they've essentially gained in this entire situation and over the people. And another layer to the whole idol title is that Gima is really the true idol or god of worship. What the Saja Boys are singing, that's really Gima's words. It's Gima's voice that plays in your head on repeats. He's the one that's here for everyone's souls. People will be free when they're a part of Gima. It looks like the demons are in control of this whole song, but really they're just puppets of Gima's plan, because even though they have power over the people, they're really just slaves themselves. Gosh, I love choreo so much. I could watch this forever. Gima appears as this special effect, and you can constantly see the flame in the background just to let you know that he's definitely still there. It is so embarrassing watching this because 100% I would be dead. Like, this is a great performance, honestly. I would be like, wow, you can absolutely have my soul. Another thing I saw too in the interviews is how they wanted the Saja Boys songs to feel really catchy and infectious, but if you actually listen to them, they're quite hollow. But then when you listen to Huntrix's songs, they have a lot more emotion behind them. So they were saying superficially you might fall for the boys, but it's the girls that are a lot more moving and resonate a lot deeper, which is, I guess, true. Although I will say I kind of like the Saja Boys songs better. Is that bad to say? And you can really hear this emotional side in the final song, what it sounds like. At this point, Rumi has just fully accepted the fact that she's a demon, and she's like, you know what, whatever. This is me. Enjoy it. I love this animation with the patterns becoming these iridescent new parts of her. Rather than hiding them or fixing them, she just accepts them. And it's really cute because her honesty is what brings the other two girls together. And you can see that now that the girls have accepted each other, they are much better at defeating these demons. Whereas before on the train, they were really struggling. But now they're even stronger than they were in the plane in the very beginning because they're like defeating way more demons this time. Look at this strut. It's such a good song to strut the stage. The souls just like slowly come back to people. So yeah, this song is all about finding harmony because before, Rumi was always chanting this Demon Slayer song about when the darkness meets the light. And I think her interpretation was that the light will overcome the darkness. But this song is more about them joining with the darkness. Although I do still think it's confusing that all of the demons get banished in the end because some of them were humanized and shown to be slaves. So I don't know if we really do find harmony with the darkness. But on the topic of the girls, they finally sing together in this scene instead of Golden, where Rumi has a 3-minute long solo, and you add the voices of the people to create the rainbow golden shield. So this is a really great example of how music and story come together really well, and why this is the song that is much better suited to the girls. And of course, you can see that they're wearing all white outfits now, so no more black. No more darkness. And I wanted to touch on this too. Thank you to everyone who said that Jinu's soul goes into her sword, because I did not catch that the first time I watched it. But I still maintain that Jinu did not have to give Rumi his soul, because Rumi's sword, it barely impacts Gima. And it's the fans' voices that help defeat Gima, not Jinu. So Jinu was just so dramatic for no reason. But I understand that it's about him accepting himself and being free and everything. But I would have preferred if it was Rumi that upgraded her sword herself. Anyway, I'm getting completely off topic. It was really fascinating reading about the process of turning K-pop songs into musical numbers because it's quite different than Broadway and it's actually quite difficult, especially to then animate to the beats on top of that. Yeah, I just think this is such a creative way to do a musical. Also, let me know what your favorite song is. I think the top charting one is Golden. Do you agree with that? Or would you want another one to chart? And actually, that gives me a lot of faith in humanity that that's the one that people are gravitating towards. So maybe don't pick my choice, which would have been your idol. Let me know if you liked this. And as always, thank you so much for watching.